You've heard the whispers, haven't you? The warnings about the dangers of being alone. Society loves to tell you that isolation is a curse, that being by yourself is the beginning of the end. They paint solitude as something to be feared, something that will break you, tear you apart from the inside out. But what they don't tell you is that there's a dark side to being alone, one that can become your greatest weapon if you dare to embrace it. We live in a world that worships connection. Social media, endless notifications, the constant barrage of faces, voices, and opinions. We're told that being surrounded by others is the only way to live, that without it, we're nothing. But here's the truth. Most of those connections are hollow, built on a foundation of nothing but fear. Fear of being alone. People cling to each other not out of love or loyalty, but out of a desperate need to fill the void inside them. But what happens when you strip away all the noise? When the screens go dark and the crowd fades away? You're left with yourself, raw, exposed, and terrifyingly alone. And in that moment, you come face to face with your true self. No masks, no filters, just you. It's here, in the dark side of alone, that you begin to understand who you really are. Let's not sugarcoat it. Solitude hurts. It's a cold, unforgiving place that forces you to confront your deepest fears and insecurities. The world tells you that being alone is a sign of failure, a sign that something is wrong with you. They say you're lonely because you're not good enough, not lovable enough, not worthy of connection. But here's the thing. Pain is inevitable. Whether you're surrounded by people or standing in the middle of the void, pain will find you. The difference is when you're alone, there's no one to distract you from it. You're forced to face it head on, to feel every ounce of it, to let it consume you. And that's where the power lies. Because in the darkness of solitude, pain becomes your teacher. It strips away the illusions, the lies you've been telling yourself, and forces you to confront the truth. It shows you where you're weak, where you're vulnerable, and it dares you to do something about it. Pain, in its rawest form, is the catalyst for change. And in the dark side of alone, you either break or you rise. Most people run from solitude. They fear it because they know, deep down, that it will expose them. But those who embrace it, those who willingly walk into the darkness, discover a strength they never knew existed. When you're alone, there's no one to lean on, no one to blame, no one to save you. It's just you and the cold, hard reality of your existence. And in that reality, you find clarity. You start to realize that the opinions of others, the validation you once craved, are meaningless. In the end, it's your own voice that matters. You become your own savior, your own worst critic, and your own greatest ally. The strength you find in isolation isn't the kind that can be seen or measured. It's a quiet, unshakable resolve that comes from knowing that you can stand on your own, no matter what. The dark side of alone isn't about giving up on the world or retreating into yourself. It's about finding power in the places most people fear to go. It's about understanding that true strength doesn't come from others. It comes from within. It's about embracing the pain, the fear, the loneliness, and using it as fuel to become something greater. When you've faced the darkness inside you, when you've come to terms with your deepest fears, you become unstoppable. The opinions of others, the judgments, the rejections, they lose their power over you. You no longer seek approval or validation because you've already found it within yourself. You become the master of your own destiny, unbound by the expectations of others. In the end, solitude is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally. It's the forge in which you are tempered, the crucible that burns away the weak parts of you and leaves behind something stronger, something unbreakable. The dark side of alone is not about despair or hopelessness. It's about transformation. It's about emerging from the darkness, not as a victim, but as a warrior. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't run from it. Don't fill the silence with distractions or seek out shallow connections to numb the pain. Embrace it. Let it wash over you, let it consume you, and then let it transform you. Because in that darkness, you will find a strength that the world can never take away. And when you emerge from it, you will no longer fear being alone. You will understand that it was never a curse. It was your greatest gift. In the dark side of alone, you find the truth. And in that truth, you find yourself. This is where the real journey begins, the journey to becoming who you were always meant to be. So embrace the solitude and let it shape you into something unstoppable. By the way, if you want to level up in life, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.